Blaze it if you got it, because this is episode 420. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Fortnightly Frontier. I am your host, Darjanator. Over there is, as always, my co-host, Myre, and let's just drop everything. 3.0 is out. Yes. And
3.0 is out,
it.
so what are we doing with this right now? Why are we even here?
Why are we even here instead of playing it? That's a good question. I suppose
Exactly.
it's because I have this weird sense of responsibility that, trying to at least have a semblance of fortnightliness to this frontier, even though it hasn't been a fortnightly one in such a long time.
It's actually kind of funny. On Thursday, the day before Thursday, you were like, so I guess we'll skip this Sunday because, there's nothing. And then the following day, I think I wake up to my phone. Basically, it says, Tyler Whitkin hasn't tweeted in forever. He's just tweeted now. And it's like, hey guys, we're pushing the PTU. And I'm like, because CIG trolled us. They trolled us.
And if people have been fans of the show or just following it for ways back, we have a penchant for timing when it comes to these things, all the way back to 2012 and 2013, because that's how long we've been on, I think. We covered something, and then the very next day they would release information that would completely counter everything we just said, and that would mean that the episode that would go out in a few days would already have old information, and we'd need to scramble to record a new one, just because.
So basically, they did it again. With this, they made a concierge email, and in that they were like, well, we're hoping to release the game to PTU by December the 20th. And then, what was it? It was like, what day did they release it this month? Like the 20-something, right? 22nd. And
like a full month before they said.
Yeah.
But I think that's supposed to go, live.
Honestly, I did see it coming, though. I did. Kind of. It's one of those things where I wish I said something at the time, because then I would be able to say, oh, I called it. It happens with me all the time. But basically, one of the devs, I forget his name, but in last week's one of last week's features with him, or the week before the PC got released live, he was like, oh yeah, so there was an insurance bug and it's on the PT, the pre-release PTU block list. So he's like, oh yeah, we can't release PTU without fixing that bug. And then on Wednesday, he releases the video with him fixing that bug for the insurance thing.
Is that the one where if you claim the ship, it would be spawned in without any
without
seats,
the doors,
with the doors?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the week
I experienced
before,
that bug a lot. Yeah.
The week before, he says, "Oh yeah," he's talking to the dev, and he's like, "Yeah, it's on the PTU a blocker list, and we can't release PTU without that bug being fixed." And then that Wednesday, they released it the day after the PTU gets released. So I kind of called it. I was like, "Oh, does that mean what?" But I wish I said something at the time. But,
it wouldn't have been the only blocker. It was a blocker.
You should have seen his face when he that back and forth between. They knew, Darj. They knew it was happening.
Probably, yeah. But oh well, we got to play. I mean, not like we didn't get to play before, but now at least we get to talk about it.
Indeed. So, as people may or may not know, Darj and I are part of the testing group called the Evocati, which are a subset of backers that get to...
we have our own salute or something.
Yeah. They get to play, at least test, if not play, different aspects of the game before it gets released to the greater public. And so and so we're able to play, and sadly, this isn't an Evocati exclusive podcast. We cannot talk about any of the stuff that we did because we're still under legal persuasion to not. But however, we have played a bunch of the PTU, and because of our experiences in the Evocati, it's kind of like guided what we kind of want to test, with this content. I mean, it's kind of stumped me a couple times because there have been things in the Evocati that existed. And so I'm like, hey, chat, I'm going to show you something real neat. I can't tell you what it is, though. I land, and I'm like, maybe it's not here, guys. Let's... Stuff like that. But, yeah, it's the PTU has been pretty awesome. I mean, like, it's, what, 50?
Quite cinematic.
Quite cinematic indeed. I mean, like, even in these like cinematic videos, like the one here that was recorded by Zenthor, he's made this like 4K video of him playing the PTU, and even though it's like cinematic in its own right because of how pretty it is, it's also cinematic in that it's like got like maybe 15 to 20 frames per second, which is actually not that bad considering there are 50 people on that server that he's in right there.
Twice as many. Well, just a bit over twice as many as 2.6. So, yeah. Also, it kind of shows, because I've been kind of monitoring the task manager while I've been playing. The average network transfer rate for Star Citizen is somewhere between 1.5 and 2.5 megabits per second.
Right.
Which is a lot for a game.
Right.
So I think there's a lot, and oh my god, does that Cutlass look like it's gonna eat him up?
You know what it looks like? And if somebody else doesn't do it, if you don't do it, I will. You know that stabbing robot from Futurama?
Roberto!
Roberto! It looks like Roberto is like, haha, I'm gonna practice my landing! Ha ha ha! That's awesome, man.
Anyway, yeah, it's about 1.5 and 2.5 megabits per second. So I have a feeling that a lot of the stuff that is supposed to be culled for all this is still in there.
Right.
Like, in a scene similar to this, landed on your own on Daymar. What sort of information is there being transferred between your client and the server that requires about 2 megabits per second?
Right.
There's nothing.
Well, I think that's where I guess the whole culling thing comes into play. Once that gets in, I feel like the frame rates and stuff will be much higher and that kind of thing. But right now, I think everything that's happening
they have
here,
done a lot of good work, because even with twice as many people, we get the same sort of frame rates. Today I played on a server for about an hour and a half, and the frames were basically constantly between 20 and 30, which was great. But then again, I went on another server and the frames were going 5, 15, 2, 20, and that was so much more annoying than playing just at a constant 10.
Yeah.
Because it keeps going and...
Yeah, so once that what I forget what it's called, like network culling comes in, I feel like it'll be much smoother. However, without it in, I mean, I think we've seen some things that I'm not sure if they're gonna stick when when it's been fixed at Gamescom, and again demonstrated in a very popular Twitch clip by Baron, Bad News Baron, like he's like approaching a planet like free falling in a gray cat, because why not? And he sees
I saw that clip.
Yes, and somebody turns on a
and
torchlight.
through the magic of editing, I shall be putting it up there into the window, even though Twitch chat will not be privy to such information.
I'm sure they've all seen it. But like, like as he's falling, somebody turns on a flashlight, and it must be like a couple thousand kilometers at least, and you can see them turning on and then turning off. I played last night with a few guys like Jaylee and people, and we tried it again, and the distance is disgusting. At Gamescom, when we were doing the recatch stunt, as we were falling, I watched it again, and as DJ was falling down in the staging area where all the people from the show floor were playing around and killing each other, you could see small blooms of explosions happening. So nice. That's something that I guess is there, and you can see it because there isn't any network culling. And I wonder just how much distance is going to be the cutoff point for where you can't see any of that happening again, because I feel like the whole culling thing will stop that information reaching your client, right?
Yeah. Something maybe connected to this, like numbers wise. Today I was one of the things I've wanted to do was just to test out how the Ursa behaves.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to just got in a ship and went to the Shubin mining outpost on Daymar because that has a platinum base
Right.
building in the outpost, so you can request any sort of ground vehicle that you would like.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was approaching it, at 15 kilometers away, a ship pip popped in.
Right.
So at 15 kilometers away, at least, you all would be able to see another player.
Right. You
That's
think
how far? Yeah.
You reckon that's gonna be the cutoff point? I mean, I think at 15
Well, that's
kilometers
the cutoff
is good.
point now.
Yes, for the radar at least. But I think that's fine. You know, it's better than 150,000 kilometers or however much it is. It's like 800,000 to Delamar or something. So yeah. Right, I don't think it's necessary to be able to see that kind of stuff right now. But yeah, so a question that was posed by Paul on the captain's table that I kind of want to ask you. So 3.0, or like, in terms of Star Citizen this week at least, what did you like most? Because of course, not only is 3.0 out, but in PTU form, but also, they've talked about the sales and stuff, and new ships have been released, and I guess we can talk about that too as well. So, so what have you liked most about this week? What have you disliked about this week, and what has surprised you?
Oh, geez.
It's a very school question. I mean,
Paul
is
question.
a teacher, isn't it? Yeah.
Paul he's a history teacher. Yeah, and he has that
yeah.
classic inquisitive mind.
Describe in 50 words.
In one sentence or fewer.
So yeah. So what did you like?
What I liked? Well, just 3.0 going live. What I disliked. Geez, that they went live so quickly because there's just so much stuff. It's too unstable for now still.
Right.
Because you really can't do anything. I've been trying to do missions just to get a bit of money. I did some calculations. If you want the Sand Nomad outfit, full outfit, which is the undersuit, legs, torso, arms, and helmet, it costs you 4,800 Alpha UEC.
Okay.
You spawn in with 2750. And the missions pay out somewhere between 75 and 120 for the average ones. And I think you said like 160 for a very good high-paying mission or something like that?
Something like that. I mean, I've noticed the mercenary missions pay more, but I mean, they're just as unstable as everything else at this time.
Exactly. And none of the cargo missions I tried would let me finish.
Right.
The first mission I was able to complete was actually going to Koval X, which is slightly different. There's no more floating PDAs anymore. You have to find actual laptops. And like built-in computer consoles.
Yeah.
To access the information, but basically it plays out the same. So that was the first mission I was able to actually earn some money on, and even then I got the good ending and didn't get the extra money.
Okay. I mean, in terms of good, so I haven't actually done the Koval X mission yet. So how do you hand it in? Because like I went through the entire station.
Right. You have to go into your mobiGlas, go to the accepted stations, and then you have untrack, abandon, and submit. So there's a third button.
Okay, right on. Did not realize that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was looking at it as well because the console where you would usually submit the mission before, at least in 2.6, that is just another console to get some information from.
Right.
Yeah. I hope we're not spoiling too much here.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think most people who want Star Citizen content have watched gameplay, they've watched streams.
That's true.
Or
played themselves.
Exactly.
So that's how that played out. That was the first mission, but cargo missions are just so broken. Mostly that I've found out is the steps don't play out the way they're supposed to.
Okay.
Like you would grab the piece of cargo, put it into your ship, and it would suddenly the step for successfully delivered would pop up, and the next step would be pick up cargo.
Right.
But I've already picked it up and just put it in my ship.
I've done a few of those missions, right? And the bugs that you've described, I haven't necessarily had myself. Like,
well, then you must be one lucky son of a bitch, because that's all I've been getting.
I think, it's very unstable. That's the bottom line there.
That is also unstable, and with the length of time required to complete a mission, from spawning in your easy hab, going down to the A-sub terminal, spawning a ship, picking up the cargo, traveling to where the cargo is, getting out of the ship, EVAing possibly, grabbing the cargo, going back to the ship, and traveling to the destination, grabbing the cargo, and delivering it. The server will crash, or the game will crash in the meantime. So
right,
it's just it's been let's just say I haven't been able to earn enough money for the full Sand Nomad outfit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen quite a few people with full Sand Nomads. So I mean, some people are getting.
Some people have a lot more patience.
They found
than
an
me.
angle. Sorry.
They have a lot more patience than me.
I mean, if you can luck out, there are certain missions you can do in the current PTU that can get you that money faster. The Comare missions, they work as somewhat semi-shared missions. If you get a mission to go repair a Comare and you go there and you're within the vicinity and somebody else turns it off if you need to turn it off, you will also get the money for it. Vice versa if you need to turn it on. Counter missions aren't in yet, so the missions to stop people doing it and stuff as soon as they get the mission aren't in. I can't wait for that, to be honest. But
I think for first they should concentrate on actually getting the order of the missions to be solid and play out correctly.
Again,
you say you haven't been experiencing that.
75% of the time, I've not had that issue. But I have had a mission where I've had to go collect a box, and I go to Delamar or Levski or whatever, and the box is actually an NPC running away from a whole bunch of other NPCs. So there seems to be some issue with mission crosstalk or something. Because
there was also one of them. The mission description said. Go to crash site, and crash site is almost exclusively around Delamar.
Right.
But the tracking was right next to Olisar, and I saw the tracking go from outside of Port Olisar and into a Cutlass and into the cockpit, and then the Cutlass turned on and flew away.
I've had that same issue. I was at Olisar.
It was an actual player, not an NPC.
Yeah. So obviously it is the PTU. PTU were not necessarily meant to have fun. They're not meant to be necessarily tight gameplay loops. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And right now the PTU is meant for server testing. And actually, I thought kind of comes up. You know how I also talked to you about how I tried to pick up a crate in 0G, and it got stuck to my hand.
Right.
Maybe a crate got stuck to that person's hand, and the game was telling me to get the crate from the guy's hand.
Maybe because again, there are shared missions, and if you get a mission that he gets, I mean, then it's basically it's asking you to escort him, and you just don't know it yet. But
because maybe well, are there missions for escorting people?
There are missions for escorting NPCs. However, they're not missions for escorting players. However, if you both get the same mission to go somewhere, then logically you will either escort him and share the pay, or at least get paid the same amount for doing the mission with him. Or, of course, you could kill him and do it for yourself, which seems to be the option most people have been doing so far in the PTU, from what I've been seeing. You go especially in places where the Comares don't necessarily have coverage, like Levski. There's a mission that I took once to go to Levski, or the asteroids around Levski, and collect a black box from a crashed ship. And as I was approaching, that whole you can see explosions and flashlights from a distance, I saw plenty. And when I landed, there was one dev placed crash site, and quite a few player placed crash sites as well. And there was one guy in an Aurora, and the crash, the damaged vehicles and stuff in the game look really, really good, especially when they're landed. And I showed this off on stream, like where I had a railgun and I shot a dragonfly or a Nox even in the hangar, and it crumples and it looks gorgeous in its destruction. But again, that's how it looked on Levski. But anyway, long story short, like in those areas, even though they all have the same mission to go do this thing, they could have worked together easily. They were trying to kill each other, so I just blasted them from orbit in the Vanguard and then did it myself.
Right, so
Yeah.
the point of this was just me asking whether the game actually has tracking for players and not just crates.
Yeah. I mean, like, hopefully with the party system, once that gets in properly, I mean, we have a party system, but there's no way of seeing your party members. Hopefully what they
Because even
will
the
do-
names
Yes,
floating above
exactly.
the players' heads have gone now.
Exactly. Hopefully with the party system, when it gets fully realized for 3.0, if you're in a party, at least then have the names on top of their heads. I'm sure in the future you'll be able to see everybody's names and then opt out. Hopefully opt out is something that you can do, like, because
I'm still hoping that we'll have the same augmented reality view that was stipulated in the original Mobilglass design, where you had exploration view, you had like shopping view, and there was a third one that I don't know. I think, but you could also just turn it off completely.
Yeah, they've tied in exploration and shopping and shopping view. I mean, like, if you walk around now, the augmented reality kicks in when you're in a store and you look at something. So it's there, but not for player name tags. From an immersion standpoint, I like the fact you can't see people's name tags. It's like it was in Elite Dangerous before they introduced the whole commander thing.
Yeah, but you can see where all the outposts are, and that it clutters the view. And as soon as you're in a ship, you automatically see all the locations, and you can't turn that off. So some sort of toggling would be nice.
Hopefully we can turn it all off. But what I want from it is the ability to opt out of people ever seeing my name tag if I don't want them to see it. I want it to be something that I have to personally say, you can't see my name. Otherwise, me doing a /lean against the wall, you wouldn't know if I'm an NPC or not. I'm just that guy against the wall unless I want to talk to you. Because I think from an immersion standpoint, that would be really awesome, because then no one will really know if, again, that guy is a player or not. And when we have voice over IP, face over IP, it can lead to some really interesting things. You'll have people walking up to just NPCs standing against the wall and say, hey. The NPC's like, And then there's another guy next to him. It's like, hey. And then it's like, what do you want? And then there's no way of telling. But obviously, I'd like for the party system to at least have the name tags. But we already have the building blocks for some really awesome subsumption.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, like being able to turn off public broadcasting, I suppose. But there's a lot of things that need to be put in, and it is early doors. It's the very first version of 3.0 and the first version of the new Mobilglass and the first version of many things.
Yeah, currently it's all offline, which I like, because it means that they're showing that it can be offline, with the name tags and stuff. Obviously.
Oh, you mean yeah. So like, not as an offline, not as in. No, because like, if it was offline, we wouldn't be getting such shitty frame rates.
True, yeah. But one thing that we are missing this build, and hopefully we'll get soon before the release of 3.0, definitely, is the ability to see players' statuses on their ships. When you target something, you can't see how much damage is done to it. You can't, it's there, but it's not. You can't see targets. You can see NPCs' names, but not players' names sometimes, that kind of thing. You can't pin
I think there'll be. I think they're backpedaling on the whole MFD only choice. So there will be adding back the helmet, like floating displays.
I think it depends on the ship. It really depends on the ship. Some ships have a really, really awesome MFD kind of like layout. You can see everything without having to use F to move your head around, like the Cutlass.
I was just gonna say the Cutlass Black. Yeah,
the Cutlass's MFDs are great, but the Vanguard, you need to stare down the entire time, otherwise you can't see anything.
The Vanguard hasn't been swapped for 3.0. And just like we've been looking above, there are ships that have been upgraded for 3.0, like the Hornet, the Gladius, the Saber.
And some that are only halfway. Like some have legacy MFDs and the new ones together.
Yeah,
I believe the Vanguard's one of them. M52. Like they have the new things, and also if you
what's
look down,
the M52?
God damn it.
Yeah. Early days. But everything is so great. There is, apart from I was gonna say, I was gonna mention a few things that I think 2.6 did better, but right now they're just not coming to mind, so they can't be that important.
What did 2.6 do better in terms of what per se? In rolling out or what?
No, just actual gameplay.
Okay.
I would say, well, you got more money for missions.
I mean, like, I feel like that kind of comparison.
But that is just balance. It's not like core gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
It's I know there's like one or two things, but I think it's mostly like player interaction via the augmented reality bit.
I think player interaction in general is just kind of down in this build. You can press F12, open the chat, and talk to each other. But in 2.6 or even 2.0, when that came out and chat was on the bottom right and it was forced and you could see it and it was somewhat diegetic, it was much better than it is right now. Now you kind of have to guess if people are around and people can talk to you and stuff. Hopefully, in the future, when we have, like, what is it now? Instant streaming and whatever it's called. And
instance meshing.
Instance meshing and the whole network culling thing.
Right now it's an instant mess, but what we need is an instance mesh.
Indeed. Like, for instance, text. There needs to be a way for you to know exactly what kind of area you're talking to in terms of who you're talking to, who you can reach. Will text comms be that 15-kilometer radius that you've mentioned before, or will it be Stanton wide?
Right.
Or will it be All-Star wide? We don't know yet, and it's something I probably would like to test. I mean, next time, like maybe even after this, offline or whatever, we could go into the universe and test that, because one of the things. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy. So I asked you what you liked most. What didn't you like most about?
Well, I already discussed what I disliked.
What was that?
That was this entire diatribe. It was basically I completely forget where I was going with it.
So
but
basically, you loved everything. So what surprised you? What surprised you?
Surprised
most this week? Yeah.
Jeez. To see how far the Carrack has developed already.
The Carrack. Oh yes.
The Carrack.
So, yeah, this is moving slightly from the 3.0 in general to the whole sail TVs. Yeah, sales ATVs. They did a really good job of it. Sadly, I don't have the videos up right now, but I could cleverly open them up very soon. But yeah, honestly, the past 2 or 3 days of the alien vehicles and stuff and today's origin vehicles, kind of disappointed by them, to be honest, compared to the 40-minute segments that we've had before that have showed us things like the Hammerhead and showed us things like, the progress with the Carrack and stuff. Those ATVs were like, to me, they set the precedent for the rest of the week, whereas they were kind of just starting off on a strong note so they could have a weekend. And then, tomorrow, though, I'm thinking that with CNOU, because, of course, the Pioneer is something that's brand new to them, and they're having an entire
refresh
day
of the Mustang.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll see a bit more about that. That's something that I'm looking forward to. For those on YouTube, it happened yesterday.
Yes.
But yeah.
It's a bit difficult recording a show like this when there's content coming out all the time, and as we know, we are horrible with timing.
Yes, maybe we should have waited until the 1st of December to record this. In retrospect,
but then it would be another 4 weeks without a podcast, and
it would have been, but we would have been able to cover anyway. Hindsight is 23.0. So I have awesome jokes. I'm here all day.
Where are they though?
Oh man.
Are you worried you'll run out?
So for me, and I mentioned this on Saturday on the captain's table. What I liked most about this patch, about this week, was the fact that, of course, the PTU came out. I mean, for you, you were kind of like, you weren't so happy about it because, of course, things were are broken. That's
my dislike.
Yeah,
that was my dislike. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, so like for you, things aren't necessarily what you would like before they get pushed out. Honestly, I think that now CIG will have that level of concurrency that they've needed for quite some time to basically get those patches, those things ironed out fast. I mean, like in
with the
terms
Delta patcher, probably
yeah. Because in terms of
one
like,
of the best things
stuff,
about the 3.0 build.
Yeah, in terms of man hours, like, you know, like the QA can only get so much done in a day. Evocati can then maybe like increase that like 10 to 100-fold, but like the rest of the CIG community coming together and you know, doing this, you know, like it's exponential. So hopefully, you know, all these numbers will help to get things fixed, because again, PTU isn't necessarily meant to be fun. It's meant to be, this is what it could be if it was fixed.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I suppose that really, you know, is a good counterpoint to my dislike. It's the PTU. It's not the actual PU.
Yeah,
the live channel.
Exactly. Yeah,
and you know, all PTUs have been broken.
So that's what I suppose surprised me, it getting released this early. What I liked most. So, in the past few ATVs and stuff, they've talked about render to texture. Render to texture. What is this thing? Oh, it's the ability to put things onto surfaces. You know, that's how the Mobiglass works. That's how the Star Map works. It's just really awesome seeing it all come together. Not just in the Mobiglass and not just in your MFDs, but render to texture. You can see actual player models in the game. If you go to Grim Hex, there are 3D character models just floating there. So that's something that I really, really did like, indeed. So that's one of the main things I really liked about this. Just all the tech that we've seen so far coming together. Anti-aliasing, I haven't seen a single Jaggy. You know, it's been beautiful. What I've disliked kind of comes into what I've liked. The whole 50-player concurrency thing. 50 people in a server. Awesome. Yeah. We have all these missions, and in the future, when 3.0 is out and the mission system is completely in with Ruto and Eckhart and stuff, 50 players.
Speaking of Ruto, he's at Grimhex.
He is.
Pay him a visit.
Yes, he is. He is the render to texture thing I was talking about.
But you didn't name him. So.
No, I was trying not to spoil. But like, I've lost my train of thought, so I'm going to now. What did I say? Dash? I forgot.
Something about render to texture about 50 people, concurrency and mission.
Oh yes. So currently we have 50 people in the PTU, right? And so with the network is 10 frames per second, 50 people. It's neither here nor there. It's just stress on the server. It's kind of like it's to give them numbers. But when 3.0 comes out, those 50 people with missions like Ruto and Eckhart and counter missions coming into play, that will basically make the world better in terms of you know, what they want in terms of like a living, breathing universe. Some people asked me before, are there any FPS missions? Can you shoot the people for a mission? Well, NPCs aren't in. Subsumption is very, very sparse at the moment. You can see NPCs walking about the place, but once counter missions are in, players will fill that niche, which is something that's pretty neat, in my opinion. So, and
the armistice zones, even around the big outposts, are quite narrow, so you could potentially stand outside an outpost, hidden behind a rock with a sniper rifle, and
that's true.
Just, you know,
and
wait for people.
People have been doing that. That's one of the things people have been complaining about. So the PTU, and I suppose testing in the alpha in general, is basically there for CIG to say, oh, this is broken. Oh, people can abuse this. Well, people this patch have been abusing their rights to kill people. You know, the game is allowing them to do it, so they are. people are bombarding bombarding Port Olisar. They're bombarding the planets from space, that kind of thing, to ruin people's day. And honestly, I'm not really too sure how they'll be able to fix things like bombarding from orbit and stuff, unless they put like a limit to how far missiles can go and things.
There was a very good, I wouldn't say a very good deterrent in TV show Babylon 5. They just made it illegal by a sort of Geneva Convention sort of parallel thingy. So it was a war crime to do orbital bombardment, but then the Centauri actually still did it, and
but that's fine to say this is illegal. Don't do it. You'll get a slap on the wrist. But what governs how heavy that slap on the wrist is? Like
for stuff like this, I would go like immediate forfeiture of all your non real world money bought items and death penalty. Because it is an empire. There are death penalties. I mean,
right. I mean, like, in terms of the PU, I suppose, or the PTU, in terms of the baby persistent universe that we have right now.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. I'm talking about long-term stuff. But
no.
Yeah.
How would you, if you were a criminal, then I suppose you shouldn't be able to go to Port Olisar anyway. So if all your ships are in Port Olisar when you do something bad, I think you kind of lost the ability to go to those ships. Then again, I think how it works right now is you can go to Grim Hex, and even if your ship isn't damaged and in Olisar, you can choose to pull it to Grim Hex and pay that fine and stuff.
Right, because right now there are. Every time the servers and the persistence resets, the location for all the ships is unknown, is blank. It will only get stored if you land on a landing pad, and then the ships despawns, and it'll be stored at that location. So then you are not able to transfer it to another location. You have to actually physically go there and get it.
Unless you file a claim saying it's been lost.
You can't.
Have you tried? Because I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird, because then that would have saved me like 20 minutes of traveling.
Yeah, I mean, like, but you'd have to pay the fee though and stuff. But I feel like that, that must be a bug. Like I don't think it's as
but what I was saying, any ship that doesn't have a status of either destroyed or unknown should not be claimed.
Yeah,
because unknown, for instance, are ships that just despawn when you're in mid-space and you get a crash to desktop or just a disconnect. So the ship just blinks out of existence. And destroyed is basically something that happened to me, which was just kind of annoying. Went to the crash site, which is one of the asteroid clusters around Delamar, to get some cargo, and pirates spawn there.
Right.
Constellations and cutlasses, and they are quite hearty. Hardy, not hearty. Hardy.
Both.
Both. Yes. Yes. Umami. So yeah, managed to dispatch them, and thought everything was clear. There were no more orange pips on my radar. I arrived there, and there was somebody already fighting there.
Right.
So we teamed up against them. We were very good. We were like, we were made for each other. One of us was going for one guy, one of us was the other guy, or we were drawing somebody's attention while the other guy would, could just wail on them from a flank, and then we were able to dispatch with them quite quickly. And then I thought everything was clear. Went, very slowly to the destination, and all of a sudden, ping, 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 poof, and I was gone.
Honestly,
because people are dicks.
People are dicks, but that brings us back to the whole crime and punishment thing, right? So I think last week or a week before, they actually talked about crime and punishment, even if it was just briefly, and about how you'd go to jail, basically, and how the jail system may or may not work. And how you'd have to serve time, smash rocks, or jailbreak.
Yeah, I like that smashing rocks one. What is that? Is that like rare earth minerals and stuff like that for industry or something?
No, I think it's an American punishment trope. Like
I know,
hard labor.
I know, but how would they justify it in Star Citizen? Because you don't really need rocks anymore as building material, but they could be like mines where they bring up a bunch of ore that's unrefined, but instead of having them refined by boring machines, which is
the whole concept of like a prison gameplay loop is something that's I've been thinking about for quite some time. I mean, like Oblivion did it really well, but that was was it Oblivion or Skyrim that had a really decent prison?
I think it was the Oblivion one, yeah.
Yeah.
But both games had a very very zero tolerance for crime. You could pick up an apple that wasn't yours, and you would be basically there would be a dead or alive reward brought up on your head.
You could
for an apple.
You could pick a feather from the floor and you'd be in trouble. Like,
but yes, it's very interesting to see how the persistent universe or just Star Citizen would handle
crime and punishment.
this. Yeah, Squadron 42. That's kind of cut and dry. You're part of the military, and if you step out of line, you would go to the brig, and that actually would be interesting. Maybe you'd have to skip a mission, and then they'd release you with a lower rank, and you may not be at the head of the squadron. You would be one of the wingmen.
How do you think Squadron 42 is going to play out? Do you think it's going to be just like Call of Duty or Battlefront in terms of Battlefield in terms of how those would work, or do you think it's going to be more freelancer, where like you have a central hub, you take a mission, you go back, and then, as in, like, do you think it's going to be Oblivion in space, or do you think it's going to be like more linear?
I think it's going to be just like the previous Chris Roberts games, where you have a carrier that is basically your base of operations, which will be the UEE Stanton, the Idris from the Morotor.
Right.
And but that's only half of it, I think. I think you also then get transferred for one reason to another to a Javelin class ship.
But how tight do you think your leash will be for remember, it's a single player game, right? And it's a story driven narrative game, right? So, right. It's, to me, story driven narrative games tend to be from the ones I played. This is this scenario. Now do this mission. You've done it. Okay. Fade out, fade to next scenario. But, I've never really
haven't played Half-Life 2 then?
A long time ago
in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, so
but that was like completely linear and very much story driven. It wasn't it wasn't one of those arena based
black, and then
no, definitely not.
Right, so you imagine it'll be more like that, but with the freedom
more like that. Yeah, definitely. Very much a huge backstory, and the results of your missions dictating the outcome of what happens next. Like, if you don't die but the mission still fails, the story will progress, but in a slightly different way than it would have if your mission had been a success.
Right. Okay.
I think that sort of thing.
I would love it if Squadron 42 had that kind of replayability that you're kind of like putting in there. I mean, like, so you could have a perfect run of S42, or you could be a terrible pilot in S42, and that could show in terms of the like the accolades that you get put into into Star Citizen, because of course how Chris wants to do achievements is that anything that you get isn't like you check your mobiGlas. Oh, I had the shooter achievement. You'd actually get like a pin or a badge.
Yeah,
it'd be really neat. Be really neat if you complete Squadron 42, and as a result, you get yourself a uniform. And depending on how well you did, how many Vanduul you killed, how many this, that, the other, how many squadron members you saved, you get more and more pins across your chest.
Yeah.
And like, those would be your achievements.
Not pins, but those like little flags that go on the left chest. Yeah.
and those would be your achievements, and then so you could like like a gallivant along the promenade, and people would say, "Oh, that guy has played Squadron 42 a lot. He knows what he wants to do." And
the NPCs wouldn't say that.
Not
they
NPCs,
would say
but
he's a war hero. He's the one who saved us from the Vandul. He was instrumental in the battles.
Yeah. And you get these people who are terrible at Squadron 42, like maybe like the one pin.
He was a janitor.
The one that says he got injured and that's it.
Just the purple cross. Yeah, that's it.
Just the purple cross, nothing else. Yeah.
What's the terminology? There is a uniform that all military personnel get.
Right.
It's in the Navy, I think it's like a pure white uniform.
Okay. But
it's not a ceremonial one. Oh God, help me out here.
I can't. I don't really know anything about the military. I'm sure we probably offended somebody by saying just the purple cross. I mean, just the wooden spoon and yeah. But like, in terms of
definitely, if you're still, even if you're retired, I think you get to keep that uniform just for show or just as a memorial. I don't know, but yeah, definitely, you would get that.
I would love for that.
I think they're called the pips.
Right. But I would love for the pips to be your achievements in Squadron 42 because that would be that'd be really amazing for immersion.
Yeah, and it would be cool to check out those those achievements if you would go to your closet and you would pull out the uniform.
Something they phased out.
And the inner thought thing would be, one, put it on, or two, check out the achievements, and then it would zoom in on all them. You could mouse over and it would tell you what it was.
That would be great. That would be great. Something they phased out actually in terms of medals. You used to be able to see all your forum badges in a display case, but the display case was always like a really low poly thing, and you can't even see it anymore. I think maybe they might be reworking it, but I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that in game for sure. I mean, like that again, because it kind of ties in everything else to one thing. Just want to see my MVP badge in game. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing, if we're drawing parallels from actual military and even stuff like Star Trek,
right?
Apart from the pips, which are basically just for display purposes, you would actually get the medals that you would get at ceremonies, and those are kept in this wood container with a glass lid, and so they're like neatly displayed, and those would be kept in your hangar or in your apartment or something like that. But then when you put on the nice whatever the name of the uniform is, God damn it, I'll remember.
Ceremony uniform? I don't know.
I'll remember it right after we finish recording.
But yeah, like I feel like with 3.0 and with I guess Item Port 2.0 being so integral to like not only ships but the players, you're cheating. You're gonna check it right now on your phone. I feel like with all that, it's basically it's gonna give us a lot of I guess give the devs a lot of creative room to do things that are interesting with achievements, because Chris has always said he doesn't want achievements to just be a thing in a menu. He wants it to be physical, tactile, and that'd be awesome for Squadron 42 for things like for this and beyond. Already, if you go to Levski, there's a store where you can buy Hangar flare and stuff like that. I mean, like at least paintings, but you can't do it just yet, but they've set all the framework for all that kind of stuff to work. But
yeah, because although you mentioned the paintings and everything, there are only specific positions on the walls where you can put them. Although they have another system in place that could replace it.
I know. I mean,
and
like
that is the cargo placement. In ships where you have the cargo grid, you could basically position it anywhere on the floor.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do that with a poster or a painting and just put it anywhere on the wall?
I mean, they might do. I mean, with cargo and stuff, being able to drop your boxes. I mean, it's pretty freeform right now. You can just drop a box and it can be slightly askew and it can like really set you off, or you could you could line it all up. I guess back then they did it that way because it's the sim. You found out what it's called, have you? What's it called?
It's a dress uniform.
Dress uniform. All right. So hopefully when you complete Squadron 42, you will unlock the dress uniform and you can see your achievements in badges in a row. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the item port system and being able to see, like your hangar flare, I think back then it was done just as a stopgap measure. It seems a bit rudimentary, especially in your hangar, because they're such tiny pips to be able to have to look for to pull up a ship and stuff. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the annoying thing is they only pop up when you're right next to them, so you actually have to remember exactly where they are, or just like roughly exactly where they are, so you get to that location, because it's only like half a meter or 1 meter away then they actually pop up. And the Revel in York hangar is fucking huge.
It is. It's a huge ass hangar. Yeah.
It hasn't changed now in 3.0. I mean, the lighting has improved a lot. But yeah.
Yeah. So like we've talked a lot, right, about 3.0, and even just like we talked about Squadron 42 really randomly. But like
which wasn't exactly the plan, but that's just how we roll.
Yeah, whatever is interesting. But like so far we've seen the Aegis. Have you seen Anvil as well?
Or the Aegeus.
Jesus Christ, man. We've seen Aegis. We've seen Origin. We've seen the alien vehicles and stuff. I think we may have seen Anvil as well, have we?
Yeah, we seen the Anvil because the Hawk was on display. I think that was the very first episode.
So ship sales and stuff. So have you purchased anything this anniversary? No. Do you plan to get anything? Nothing at all? Why is that? Why, Darj? Why?
One, I'm broke.
Okay.
I was so close to quoting Dave Chappelle from that from the little one of his skits. You know what I'm talking about, and I think chat notes or the viewers know what I'm talking about. But I don't think YouTube would like me saying what he said. But yeah, I'm broke, and I've already bought all the ships that I want. Maybe I'll well, not this sale. I'm just saying long term. Maybe I'll upgrade one of my ships to the rework 300i. Or maybe if there's a possibility of, well, you can just meld the ships and use the in-game the store credit to buy a 600i, just because I love the Origin, the new Origin stuff so much.
Sure.
But I have my Carrack. I'm good.
You have your Carrack, you're good.
I have an 85X. I have 2 bikes. I have quite a few ships. Got that.
Yeah,
I didn't think it would happen, but it just you back this game for such a long time, and just that voice in the back of your head. Just one more won't hurt.
Yeah. I have quite a few ships, or should I say I had a few ships at some point. Like, sadly, sorry? I just give them away. Like, I've been giving them away because, of course.
You definitely muted yourself.
I muted myself for you. Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Yeah, I have quite a few ships.
How rude of you. How dare you. How dare you.
Quite a few ships. But I give them away quite often because the community, it's thanks to the community that I've been able to buy them, so I've been giving them away. So I'm concierge, but I ain't got nothing. As a result.
Oh, you have concierge.
I have concierge, but like it's a weird one, concierge. For me, a concierge is somebody you talk to at a hotel and they tell you where the nearest bar is. I don't understand what concierge status means exactly in Star Citizen.
Well, speaking of Origin, and they alluded Origin being like a parallel to BMW. BMW has a concierge service. If you buy any new car, you get free data, and you just push a button, and you get in contact with a person at BMW.
Right.
And you can tell them, I'm hungry. Where's the nearest burger?
For real?
And they will look for it. They will see where your location is. They will look for the nearest burger, and they can, if you so desire, send the instructions straight to your navigation.
Well, you see, that is legit concierge service. If you were to make a concierge ticket in Star Citizen, you're like that. I'm hungry. Where's the nearest Benny's? You're not gonna. They're not gonna take you seriously, even when the game is out, unless a GM literally has to do it because it's concierge service. That'd be interesting. But I pulled up that trailer, and this is a part of the anniversary special for Anvil or Aegis even. And there were some really interesting things there, and I might have to rewind it in a second. Again, it's just a cinema. Yes.
Again, I love that song, and they haven't released it. God damn them.
It's not a full song though. It's just like a stinger. But it's all in engine, which is really awesome. These cinematic trailers, they've always been in engine. And as the game develops and matures, they look even better. Or sadly, the whatever his name is, that guy, the Jeremy Clarkson facsimile looks uglier each time because he's more realistic. But something that was interesting, and I guess I'll have to transition in a second and go back to it, is that the engineer floating around the hammerhead. He looks at a full scale image of his ship as he floats around.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So another thing.
What's the point of that? I mean, I suppose I'm supposed to be on the lookout for this shape.
I mean,
or maybe it's a map showing him where exactly on the ship he's supposed to go to fix a problem.
Because when he talks about this engineer, he talks about how he is if this is a hammerhead shark, he is the remora or whatever, making sure everything is up to snuff or whatever. So maybe in the future for this ship specifically, you might need an engineer floating around the place to status check things on the fly like that. Although I don't know why you wouldn't just use a terminal to do that. Maybe it needs to be repaired from the outside. That's why he's up there doing that right now.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
But then again, why aren't they using drones, repair drones? Those been in the talks for ages.
Yeah, drones we know are a thing for the Carrack. They're a thing for the Reclaimer. But I don't know about repair drones for things like this. I think maybe the whole aim of this ship is that it's not supposed to be chasing down things. So having an engineer on the outside is just something that made sense at the time. I think something that's really neat about the ship is that you can dock it next to. Well, it has docking collars. I mean, in a few minutes, I'll let this thing run, right? And
I think this is the end of the video. So rewind.
No, but okay. I was gonna say I was gonna let it run to the talks and stuff. It's a 44-minute thing, so I might actually skip through. But one other thing actually about this is again, it's all an engine. So with 3.0 and beyond, we're supposed to have voxelized asteroids that you can destroy and you can mine. Well, in this video, they use the hammerhead and they shoot asteroids up, which is pretty interesting. I mean, does that mean that, in the future, when asteroids become more free, like they are in this video right now, will you need to be on the lookout for them? This ship is meant to take out things like bombers, even missiles. Asteroids, stray ones coming at you like that as well. I guess you'd have to, otherwise you get in trouble, right?
But yeah, those could do quite a lot of damage. Also, one thing I wanted to mention: this guy, no, not the engineer, but the Jeremy Clarkson lookalike. Yeah. While you were getting your head scanned, I asked the guy. I didn't ask him specifically, but it came up in conversation. That's the same sort of scanning technique they use on him that they used on you.
Only a few more face shapes. Oh, okay.
Nope, just what they used on you, and they were able to create those animations from those face scans.
That is pretty interesting. That's pretty awesome, actually. So maybe in the future you might see me in game going, "Hi, welcome. I am about to give you a mission you cannot refuse." Yeah. The hammerhead's interesting. I mean, would you get one? Do you see what do you think you would use it for? I mean, they give you a few uses.
Oh no, I wouldn't get one. Just because I think it's like a too military sort of a vehicle, and I'm not in it for this game just to blow shit up. I want to explore, and that's why I got my Carrack.
Right, but you see, the Carrack, even though, you know, it's pretty, like, self-sufficient and stuff, at the same time, the Carrack does not have that much firepower. If say you wanted to go
It only has
explore
4
something,
turrets, yes.
Yes, but at the same time, the Hammerhead has a lot of turrets, right?
It also has 4 turrets.
But
all of each of those turrets have 4 big guns.
but not the same size, and you don't have the missiles either.
No. Just say yeah. Like they both have 4 turrets, but that's the size of the Hammerhead turret.
Yeah. So like,
and this is the size of the Carrack's turret.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pause the video really quickly. Oh no, I paused it mid transition. There we go. Like
so professional.
So like I just really like the layout of it. I think it has the largest captain's quarters of anything I've seen so far. It's a big ship, right? This I mean, you can't see my mouse, but like you see that gap towards the back before it like splits off into 2
That's the front.
Is that the front?
That's the front.
The on left side.
Left side the front. Yeah.
Okay, and towards the back. Oh, okay. Right. Well, the captain's chamber.
Because you can actually see the Hammerhead shape.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now that you put it that way. So the bridge itself isn't actually shown in this image, because the bridge is an underslung kind of thing. You know, it's underneath. Where is the access to the bridge?
I don't think this is the only deck, because you can see at the back you have stairs that are going down.
Right.
So I think the bridge is like actually like right below the
that's cargo.
Just below the captain's quarters.
Right. I think it's I like the look of it, and also
which would be cool. Like it's almost like in Wall-E.
Okay.
You know how the bridge, like the captain's quarters were right below the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
So this is maybe just the other way around, but you know, the captain would have immediate access to the bridge, and everybody else would have to walk all the way across.
Right. This piece of concept art I love a lot, because I mean, we know that the ship has docking colors, but I don't think they're docked to one another in this image, are they? They're not interlinking. They're docking to a station.
Those are the turrets that they look like they're holding hands, but no, it's docked nose first into that light gray station.
It's a station, right? But I love the fact that the ship itself is basically a glorified turret, and it's like stuck to a station, and now it's stuck to the station. That station is very, very well protected now, you know? Like, no one's gonna mess with a station like that. Can you?
But they're only on one side.
True.
They could all fire engines and move the station elsewhere. If the connections held out, but that'd be an interesting sight.
I can see a lot of organizations buying the Hammerhead simply because things like the Pioneer don't have that much firepower. So you'd want to have some friends in another vehicle that will basically add that utility, like
for flotillas and group operations. But for solo, I don't think it can actually operate as a solo vessel.
I don't think it would be fun as a solo vessel. Because it's obviously not going to be very fast. It's a Corvette, but at the same time, it's... I mean, there aren't that many missions that you'd want to do with a ship like that. You know, like it's even though it's big and it's a gunship and it's meant to kill like fighters and stuff, it's quite niche.
Maybe like a seek and destroy, but it doesn't even have any landing pads, does it? For small
it doesn't
ships?
No, it doesn't. No. But
I think it's only a support vehicle, and that's it.
Yeah. It's like, let's say you have a big organization, and like, you know, it's like, all right, it's time for us to go ahead and go to war with this other organization. We've spent all this time, we're ready. Let's do it. And so that's when your officer is going to go scramble the rest of the team for the ship, and they're going to do the mission, they're going to either win or not, and they're going to take it back, and then that's the end of that. I don't think that it's going to be a long-term use ship, even though it has crew quarters and a captain's quarters, and it even has cargo, actually.
Yeah, it does.
So I might want to backtrack on all of that and say, because it has cargo, you could use it for other missions that aren't necessarily just for
Okay,
like
so
warfare.
maybe a few long-term missions, yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose. But I think its primary role would be. Excuse me, I seem to be going through puberty.
Nothing like second puberty.
Yeah, I think its for primary role would be a support, because I think the smallest ship that you would want to go on a long-term mission with on your own would be the Idris.
Right.
For this sort of well, this has a lot more military potential than you could go for a solo mission with a Carrack
Right.
or even just a Constellation, but those are small civilian type missions. This is like a military operation, and I don't think it would be able to fare on its own.
Right. I mean, like, just looking at it at the moment, like,
Is this flipped upside down?
It's flipped upside down, yeah.
Because there's the bridge on top.
Yeah, its life got, flipped, twisted upside down. So it has cargo storage. It's got a captain's quarters, crew quarters, so obviously it has a mess hall too. But I don't think there's any indication that it has like a med bay. I think a med bay is the most crucial thing that you will need for any ship that you want to have for a long time, for like a long-term gameplay. Because in the future, like right now, like when you get damage, this isn't for you, but like for people who are like listening, but like if you get damage, and it goes yellow, then it goes red. I don't think the medipens are supposed to take you all the way back to pristine. That's not the intention, and that's where things like SNR and med bays and med ships come into play. So
what is that ship from Mass Effect? The first three ones.
now that you asked me the question, I can't tell you, but I knew before you asked me.
It's SR1 something. But whatever it is, that sort of ship you would want to be as the smallest sort of soloing ship for military operations, because it has a med bay, it has a garage for several like drop ships and rovers.
Right, you're talking about the ship in Mass Effect.
The ship in Mass Effect, yes.
Man,
Why am I so bad with names today?
I'm terrible with names. Somebody in Twitch chat's gonna tell us in a second. Oh my god, you guys don't even know the name of this ship. But I forget. It's called the
Normandy.
Normandy. That's the one. Yeah, the Normandy.
Beat your chat.
Did you Google it or were you thinking?
I just it just came to me.
Yeah, I was trying to cold read. I was gonna go the until you went Normandy.
Wow, that's a weird alphabet. A B K D.
Anyway,
yes.
so honestly, the Normandy is one of my favorite design ships, and honestly, the Carrack kind of does that for me, Normandy style. In fact, the 600i kind of feels Normandy-ish to me, to be honest. In terms,
I think they're all much smaller than that.
Normandy is a big ship. It doesn't.
Normandy
look
is a big ship. You don't think of it because it's almost never seen any to scale. It's never almost never presented in a scenario where you would be able to judge the scale of it.
Yeah.
Except for like in I think it's Mass Effect 3 where you actually do see it docked outside when you dock at the Citadel.
Right.
But even then it's kind of hard to judge scale. I think it's like several hundred meters. It would have to be. And here I am going on my phone again. And just...
So, I mean, apart from that, they also talked about, they talked about the Javelin, did they not? And how big that's going to be. And
that's what she said.
We're done. But I can't wait for the Javelin, man. Like, the Javelin's a huge-ass ship, and I don't think I'd own one. I think, in terms of my stream, I kind of have to think about maybe having at least one capital ship to play around with chat and stuff. But at the same time, I'm not sure if I'll be... if I didn't stream, I don't think it's something I would get. But thinking about it more and more, I think I need at least one capital, but I just don't know what I want yet.
If I could get the Normandy, anything that's similar to the Normandy, it would be amazing. The only thing I can find is that here we go. Normandy SR1, 150 meters. Normandy SR2, 200 meters.
200 meters, huh?
So the Carrack is kind of there. The original concept was 123 meters with all the antennas and everything, but in the was it the Tuesday episode? No, today was a Tuesday episode. What the hell am I talking about? No, today was a Monday episode. What?
The Friday
What day is it?
The Friday episode, I think, is what you're
Is it the
talking
Friday?
about.
Whatever the episode for Anvil was, they mentioned it got 30 meters longer. So Carrack is now about the size of the Normandy SR1 from Mass Effect 1, the one that got destroyed.
Right.
The one that got owned.
So do you reckon we'll be able to actually use this this table, what's it called, air hockey?
The air hockey table. To actually play air hockey.
I mean, it's there. I can see, like, with Subsumption or something, the NPCs being able to play around with it, but do you reckon we'd be able to do ourselves?
Oh, shucks. I don't know. Well, we have pool tables in Star Marine. And
Right.
can you play pool with those?
No, you can't. You can shoot the pools, the pool cues and stuff. You can shoot the pool cues, but like
You can shoot the pool balls, yeah. But you can't really actually play. I mean, if it will kind of move, but it won't move properly. And if I don't get my pool or air hockey with proper physics, damn it, I don't want it at all.
Fair enough. So I'm trying to pull up the Carrack things because we're talking about it a bit, and also it's some nice eye candy. They haven't actually like separated any of the videos this time around for all the stuff. It's all like one big thing. I checked Reddit earlier. I don't think anybody has actually compiled any of the stuff. They're probably waiting until the end so they can make like one.
Well, what is it? What's the phrasing on Reddit right now? The dopamine edit.
The dopamine edit, huh?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's all the eye candy with some very, very nice Pedro music on the background.
Right. Well, I can't wait for the dopamine edits then. But yeah. So what do you think about the Hawk? The Hawk with the gimp suit bay in the back.
That thing, eh?
Yeah.
Kind of looks cool, but just what it is doesn't really impress me because it's just yet another single-seater ship without a functioning interior.
It's yet another single-seater ship that's being touted as a starter ship, but at a premium price.
But it punches above its weight class.
It's intended to. It really is. It has an EMP. It has less than lethal weapons to try and subdue things like cutlasses and the lot. So you can...
transport bay for... It's basically a bounty hunter ship, yeah.
It is a bounty hunter ship. But what makes it interesting
because we don't have
is,
those yet. The Avenger is not a bounty hunter ship. It doesn't have bounty cells in the background.
So this is a bespoke bounty hunting ship that is... that the UAE... put a bid in for, as opposed to a police ship that's basically being resold to civilians. So in terms of the lore, it's bespoke, but at the same time, it's got a bunch of guns, but I'm not sure about the weapon sizes of the guns. It's got an EMP. It's interesting, right? It's basically like if you were to choose between an Aurora, a Reliance, a Mustang, and a Hawk. Well, obviously, if you wanted to like start or like try bounty hunting, you would choose the Hawk. But in terms of how expensive things are right now in the store, you would probably get more mileage buying something like an Avenger instead, because that has bounty bays as well. So it doesn't really make any much sense, really.
No, I don't think it does. I think at that point, it's basically just getting what you like
aesthetically,
like the looks of more.
Yeah.
And well, we'll have to see what the new Mustangs will be like.
We do. Honestly,
we saw like a single piece of concept art, and it does look nice. And it's not gonna have just skids anymore. It'll actually have landing gear.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about them messing up my paper crane, baby.
It needs no. It'll still be that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the bottom, when you turn on landing mode, it'll just go blip, and like a couple of wheels will pop up. It'll still have the paper crane thing.
I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, obviously, I want them to increase, to make it look good for 3.0. Obviously, in the hangar right now, they do look good, but, in terms of scale and paneling and stuff, it doesn't necessarily fit in with the rest of the ships in the verse. So, obviously, that needs to happen, and we've seen some concept art, and it looks really good. But, honestly, I just don't want them to change much of it. Apart from to like bring the HUD and stuff up to scale, I don't want them to change it.
I do though, because well, would you be just happy if they just brought it up, all the materials and everything
up to spec? Yes, yeah. Honestly, I don't think.
Well,
it needs
they changed
any more
up
love than
the
that.
glass shaders.
And
that already made it look a lot better.
Yes, yeah. So for me, honestly, it doesn't need more than that. Like the skids, I like, but I guess from an immersion standpoint, it'll be kind of annoying to maintain a hangar. And then some jackass who owns a Mustang skids in and scratches your freaking what's it called?
But
again?
it's
Reveling
not
your
just that.
cabin floor.
Every time you try to land, you're gonna break them off.
If you go too fast, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't roll into a land. Can the Origin Jumper ship roll into a land? Because it has wheels, and honestly, those wheels.
No,
I don't like.
the wheels. I don't think the wheels are actually wheels at this point. They're just contact points.
It's the only ship that has wheels. Everything else has like weird, like animatronic feet.
Avenger has wheels.
Avenger has wheels, but everything else has these weird animatronic feet, and I'm not sure about that.
Yep.
Like I like being
Avenger's
able to
old.
Come in. Yeah,
Avenger's really old, so I think it was like from a time when VTOL capability wasn't that good, I suppose. But then it got upgraded, but they just figured out, we'll just keep the wheels.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the Terrapin. Actually, it just popped up there. I love the look of the Terrapin.
We saw it at the CitizenCon demo.
I love almost everything about it. Like it's basically a ship that has its own purpose, and it's a turtle, and you have different modes of turtling.
It's a turtle whose butt looks like Bumblebee from the Transformers movies.
Indeed.
Like
what
if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, Google the Terrapin rear view, and then in the next picture, Google Bumblebee from the movies, and you'll see it immediately. I mean, the colors are off, but everything else is there. And once I've seen it, I cannot unsee it. Then, if I owned one, I would call it Bumblebee.
So what I like most about the featurette here, Bumblebutt. Bumblebutt. This is the UEE Bumblebutt calling in, requesting landing. What I like most about this thing is that when they're talking about weak points and stuff, and it's something that we haven't really heard much about. I mean, I think maybe we may have seen some of that happening in Arena Commander when I was using the Caterpillar, and Ashgard was fighting me, and he went to attack the engines instead of touching the main hull, and he got more points shooting that than the main engine, the main hull. But
did he?
Yeah, but in this ship here, I mean, they were saying how because it's so tanky, you wouldn't necessarily want to shoot the hull. You'd want to aim for the radar so it can't fulfill its purpose, and then you'd leave it alone because it's useless for everything else. It's not a fighter. It doesn't have storage for anything but personal effects.
Yeah.
The moment you destroy that radar dish, it is useless.
So it's basically AWACS.
So it just becomes a single person transport vehicle the moment you destroy the radar. So I mean, in a fight, I mean, if you look at the brochure, in a fight, its radar can do really deep, intense scans on not only planets but also enemy ships, and then maybe in the future you can relay that information to other people, in your squadron.
Yeah.
So that's where its use comes in.
You'd have an Idris with its command and control center, and it would be getting information fed from a bumblebutt.
Yeah.
And then relaying all that information to all
rest
the other
of your
ships.
squad.
Yeah,
So that's why I can see this ship being maybe a prime target in a battle. You want to take it out first, and that way it acts as a bullet, like a damage sponge. You take that out, then you take the rest of the squad, the battle out, so that they don't get that much information in the battle.
But isn't the radar like shielded? Like you'd have to go through the hull first.
It is exposed until you go into turtle mode, but once you go into turtle mode, then you're basically out of commission anyway. But I feel like
that's true.
Yeah. Trolls in the verse who see terrapins are gonna want to just rip that radar off and then don't even destroy it. That would be
or
the
maybe
worst
just
thing to do.
jam it.
That'd be the worst thing to do.
And that was the Spaceballs reference for the day.
Just jam it. I didn't even get that. I have to rewatch Spaceballs, man. But like,
they shot a jar of strawberry jam, or is it no?
Oh,
raspberry.
I remember now. Yeah,
It was the raspberry jam.
The raspberry jam. Yeah, I remember
look. The butt. Tell me that's not Bumblebee.
That is Bumblebee, eyebrows and all.
Yeah. God damn.
Man.
Oh, and I see the radar dish poking out right now. Yeah.
So when it goes into retract,
the eyes.
The eyes have it. Yeah, you can see there, and it retracts inside, and then like
right. Yeah. And there's like panels that go over the canopy of the cockpit, which was a concept first seen on the Carrack.
Right.
So I suppose Anvil does that as like a trademark for that, because no other ship has that even as a concept.
Now, one thing that's interesting about this is even though the ship has 2 seats, the devs were very adamant that, even though you have one guy who's a pilot and you can have another guy who goes into the back and runs the scanner, it is pretty much a single-person ship most of the time. Because imagine how boring it will be to get somebody else sitting in there, just sitting down waiting for that one time to scan. Very boring. Unless, of course, he's talking to you on Discord or like VoIP and he's got Netflix running. He's not going to be doing anything interesting. And they talk about this here. And it makes me think about other ships like the Banu Defender and stuff. Just how much gameplay is there going to be in those small 2-person ships where basically one person could do everything? I mean, I guess in the respect of Banu Defender and the Anvil Hurricane, they are like, you're not always in them. You're not like going from mission to mission in one of those ships. It's like, oh, we have a mission to go kill things, let's scramble the Hurricane. Oh, we have a mission to do cargo, let's do the cargo ship. That's what I like about this game. Like they don't have many jack of all trade ships, and the ones they do have very obvious kind of like shortcomings. Yes, exactly, because they are jack of all trade ships. But yeah, that's the Terrapin, and I think on this same video they talk about the Carrack as well. Correct?
Which is my baby. Well, it is the Anvil showcase, so it should be.
Yeah.
Anvil got quite a few.
This was
quite
Friday,
a few ships.
And this ATV and I guess the one before it kind of set the tone for ATVs. This sale. Sadly,
I love the shape of these corridors inside.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure where they were going before I saw that, but now that I've seen what they're doing with it, I love it. That V-shaped hexagons are very nice.
They're like, no 90-degree turns. I mean, no 90-degree walls. They want it to all kind of resemble the logo of the ship, because I guess it's a very interesting thing to do. I mean, like, you don't think about it, but this is their first Anvil ship that has an interior.
Yeah. Well, you could say that Terrapin is one because it is completely modeled, but that is just a single room that's not even disconnected from the cockpit.
Yeah. So, honestly, I like this ship. It has 3 modular bays in the back, which is interesting. It reminds me of the Firefly, because the Firefly has 4 modular bays, and it's a ship that does things. So it's essentially the Firefly. That's what I like about it.
I love me some Firefly. I love me some Firefly.
But yeah, it's a neat ship.
And that's the interior. That's the actual. Go back. It's positive.
Yeah. Yo, hold your Darges, man. All right, there we go. Like, there it is.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the landing bay for the Pisces. That's not the Pisces right now. That
But,
is
yeah.
the
They're all the same
Merlin?
size. That's the Kruger Merlin, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Merlin. Yeah, and those things going left and right. Those are the access corridors for the turrets on the sides,
Okay.
and on the back there's the engineering, I suppose, and the engines.
Right. So it's the first time, actually, that we're seeing the interior of, or at least the layout. And it's neat. This entire
So
week...
this is the white box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it white or gray?
Kind of a dark gray. No, well, there were a few shots of white box and gray box. This is white box that we're seeing right now because it's like basic shapes and blockouts.
But it has color in it, too.
That's concept art.
Yeah, it's concept art.
But there were also a few gray box bits, especially when they were still. It was a bit of a shot from the editor and the engine bay, and they were just adding little greebles and stuff to the engines and stuff like that. That was actually already modeling gray box because it's high poly and lots of detail, and this would be also gray box as well. Yeah, just high poly, lots of detail, no textures.
Yeah,
and
so
the
it's coming along nicely. I mean, like, everybody and their mother has been going, "Oh, Carrick's gonna be awesome," and I'm like, all you've ever seen are concept images of their ship. I mean, how can you get hyped by something like that? But now that I've seen it like this, I can see where they're coming from.
Backtrack. All you've seen are concept images. How can you get hyped by that? Are you even a Star Citizen backer?
JPEGs.
Goddamn JPEGs, man.
Goddamn JPEGs.
See, this is gray box.
Yeah, but I mean, like, people were hyped about this specific JPEG for a long time. Like, oh, the Carrick's my favorite ship, and I'm like, how can something like this be your favorite ship when all you've seen is an image of it? When there are other ships in the game that are more, more solid, more fleshed out, more realized. But now I can see it. And now I can understand why. Personally, I don't really have a favorite ship yet. I'd kind of have to wait for everything to come out. More gray box stuff.
Yeah.
The engine room you're talking about. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah.
God damn.
I'll be here all week. All right.
And as I said before, it's grown by about 30 meters.
30 meters. So now it's 123, unless you mean it's 153.
This is the old concept. See, I think it's like from 2012. It's the original Grimmac Bassine's concept art.
Right. Yeah. So Carrick looks interesting. I mean, like, you can see here, this must be old. It's got jump plotting antennas. Why does it need jump plotting antennas? Does that mean that it has more efficient jump plotting than others?
It's meant for discovering jump points and plotting them.
Right.
So new ones.
So you're saying that other ships can't also plot jump points, only Carracks can?
Well, special ships for plotting them, yeah. I suppose.
I suppose what you mean is that maybe if you wanted to plot jump points, you would need to get a special jump point plotting item for your ship, and the Carrack comes with them standard. Otherwise, I'm not understanding it.
I think that is it, yes.
Yeah.
Like an upgrade for the sensors, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like,
I mean,
like,
you could possibly activate unintentionally a jump point and use it, but it wouldn't be recorded by your computer.
So
and more white box,
right?
Because this is just shapes.
So in terms of the future, I mean, tomorrow or yesterday for people on YouTube.
But yeah, can you just scroll back a bit?
Scroll back a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is the hangar bay for the rover, and that's the door for a human.
Oh, that's pretty big. It's pretty big. Yeah, it's got a big door for a big vehicle.
Yeah.
And these are the three modular bays that you can change
and for
up.
cargo. And those aren't those little half-meter boxes that we have access to now. Those are 2x2 meter boxes.
Right. And it's a pretty big, big ship. I can't wait to see what they have in store for the different modules for each ship.
I'm so excited.
He is excited.
I am, if you haven't noticed.
So yeah, I forget what I was gonna say now, but that's pretty much it for the character.
Well, as soon as it's in the game, party at my place, and by my place I mean my character.
He means his character, yeah. Yeah.
We'll get a Starfarer or two of beer. And this is access to a turret, I believe.
Right.
Which is unintentionally, unnecessarily long.
Yeah. So in terms of like, so CNOU, which is tomorrow, it's going to be
tomorrow's. Yes.
Yeah. So or yesterday for the people on YouTube. CNOU is known for their pioneering discoveries and developments and stuff. It is the word to use, Darj. It just happens to also be a pun. But so they've made the Pioneer thing for settlements. The Mustang is meant to be like really left field and out there in terms of its shape and stuff. In terms of the future of that company, what do you think Silas Kerner would possibly make, to like continue in that kind of like tangent of like pushing the future of
well
tech.
he did drop a hint already.
Terraforming.
Yeah.
I think terraforming, maybe even making your own jump points, will be freaking ridiculous.
Making your own jump points, is that even a possibility? Cause
I don't know. I mean, like, jump points are this really nebulous thing in the first place. They're not described or explained. In all the lore pieces, it's like people tried to explain them, but then like they still don't know because there's a jump point to a system called Nil that doesn't have a star. Because, like, the previous theory was that, jump points are attracted to areas that have stars, and then Nil doesn't have a star. It's a system that orbits a gas giant. So, yeah. So, like, with that in mind, I mean, like, we don't know. It's just like a video.
Okay, that just gave me a headache.
Yeah, it's a video game term or thing. So,
well, I think jump points just exist already. And I don't think you're able to tear open a new one.
Right. But tear open. So what about collapsing? Oh my god. I mean, like, it would be really interesting if there was like a gameplay. God damn it, Darj. Compose yourself, man. Compose yourself. It'd be interesting as a gameplay thing, like in the like long term, right? Long term, organizations, tens of thousands of members, maybe less when the game comes out because tens of thousands is a bit much, in my opinion. But like, big organizations, the biggest ones, they've been waging wars with another org. They know this other organization's like trade routes in and out. They have spies on the inside. They know what they use. They know what is necessary to cripple that organization's, like flow of money. I think a ship that can close a jump point would be really interesting. And, that would also lead to some pretty neat gameplay or emergent gameplay, because let's say you do have a jump point that everybody knows about, but you want it for your own. You want to keep it. You want to monopolize this jump point. Well, you're going to have some Deep Space Nine kind of shit going down, because you're going to need a big ship to protect.
I was just waiting to make that reference myself, actually.
Yeah. You're going to need a station or like a ship stationed in that place to protect it from people who would want to cause it harm. It's something.
From a gameplay perspective, I sort of understand, but from a DM perspective, like if you close up the only jump point between two systems,
right,
and that would mean that all the traffic would now have to go around, like the long way around. I don't think the game devs would like that very much.
So that's why I'm saying very, very long term. Maybe this jump point busting ship might take a lot of time to make. It might take a lot of like resources to make. It might take a long time to shut it down. I don't think it would even
have to be a ship, just a device that can be dragged by another ship.
Because you know that other people aren't going to want you to do that. So the gameplay would be they're setting it up, you stop them. And it might take a long time before it ever happens. But just the possibility of it being able to happen is something that's kind of nice, kind of neat.
Well, jump points will collapse on their own anyway.
Right.
And like the smaller they are, the quicker they are collapsing. It's basically they are, like wormholes. Like the
Exactly.
big ones are stable, and even though they may be shrinking, they are doing so at an imperceptible rate, and will take forever to even change from a large to a medium.
Right, but at the same time, at least in terms of the lore, jump points, even though they might be, have a life cycle, that the ones that we have, at least in the star map, are at least hundreds of years old, because like the ones that describe as being discovered 300, 400 years ago still exist.
Yeah. But then again, why even have a character if it's made for mapping jump points?
I suppose because the ones that are described in the lore, if you want to like, if you for a minute you want to think about it, like maybe the ones in the lore are just more stable, and there are less stable ones that you can find and discover and tell people, but they they just haven't.
And they would be like back
yet.
doors.
Exactly. Yeah.
The stable ones are known. The stable ones can be not sabotaged, but ambushed. This reminds me of again Independence War 2, and you didn't have jump points. You had Lagrangian points. Well, the Lagrangian points were the locations for those whatever they're called. But one of the early steps in your establishing yourself as a pirate in the area to get the attention of the bigger families, so to speak, was to ambush one of these jump points and attack cargo ships that were coming through.
Right.
But as a counterpoint, there was also a hidden jump point that nobody knew about. Into your system that you were given information for, and you could use that to jump in, and that was, I think, used in a mission where some other people were doing the same thing to you, waiting for you to jump into the system through that jump gate or whatever it was.
Gate camping is going to be something that is a thing in this game, and the bigger organizations that have people playing the game around the clock are going to have the more policed gates and that kind of thing. And I cannot wait for that kind of gameplay to happen, especially like in non-UEE space where it's going to be more feasible, because you can expect the Empire to be doing that in Empire space to protect people from being ganked as they enter a gate.
Empire space, I get, and you might actually. What do you think would be? Do you think there will you could actually get enough of a military power or such like a force behind you to stave back the advocacy?
To a degree, I feel like they've mentioned a lot.
Or would you get 5 stars immediately, like in GTA 5, and then you get tanks and helicopters on you?
I feel like the further away you are from Sol or Terra, the less the military impact and stuff. I feel like to a degree you'll be able to stave off the NPCs and stuff, and to try to kind of make a difference, but never to make that that crucial, critical push to make the entire system change. Unless the GMs decide, sure, we'll give it a pass, because that they're going to hire people to sit down there and do the big scale kind of DMing, as it were.
And then they just send in a Bengal, an advocacy Bengal.
Yeah. And I think trying to, I guess, taunt the devs and kind of push them to see how far they would react would be a pretty neat thing, but also almost I hope it.
I would love to have a Reliant, one of the News Vans versions, to report on that.
Yeah, what I fear about all that stuff about the GMs being DMs, as it were, is that as long as it's not claustrophobic, you don't feel like you can't do anything substantial because you'll be stopped by them. I just. Let's say you want to destroy, you take out a Vandal system, right? You're killing Vandal day in, day out, and well, the servers have numbers for how many Vandals should be there. Like the GMs could then say, okay, we're gonna buy. I just want the GMs to maybe tailor an event that's not just okay. Now there are too many Vandals for you to handle. Get out of there. Like I want there to be some like form of success, and if there is failure, I want people to be able to like trigger like, oh, a kingship is spawned, and then I want people to be able to maybe kill the kingship, and then. But then where do you go from there? Because you've succeeded.
Isn't that the point of Project Operation Pitchfork?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see with all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty interesting, in my opinion. But
so many good things coming.
But back to CNOU though. Like, we talked about the Pioneer is their new pioneering object. I mean, vehicle. Their Mustangs are their. Like their Elon Musk electric car or whatever. Jump point busting vehicles are something that might. That's my thing. What do you think?
I think. I don't think CNU is so much into aggressive gameplay or
that's
role
true.
play.
It's all about building towards the future, right?
So what do you think I think it would be more about mapping instead of collapsing.
Mapping, yeah. So what do you think that they do? Well, they could make?
Well, like a Carrack equivalent.
A Carrack yeah, I suppose so. Like, or maybe a Constellation.
Because a Carrack was like an old Navy ship that was repurposed for civilian use. But CNOU is all about new designs and new bespoke built vehicles.
But about like new utility, what do you think they could do there? I mean, like I'm asking you, kind of, it's a left field question. Like, Darj, think of a gameplay thing that isn't in the game yet. But
can I have a few weeks?
We're gonna have a few weeks. Maybe you can even develop your own game and then come back to me then.
Well, we have mining ships. There's the Prospector, and there was the Orion's the big one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's already very much taken care of.
So mining is taken care of. Scavenging and salvaging is taken care of. Like mechanic, like healing, like that kind of thing. That's kind of taken care of.
Repair, yeah.
Yeah. Science is taken care of with the Crucible to a massive degree. I feel like, for me, I feel like right now, let's use the Prospector, I mean mining as an example, right? Like you want, for me at least, I kind of want 3 different types of mining ship at least. You want your starter ship, which is your taste into that kind of gameplay. Then you want your...
Which you have
in the form of the Prospector, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then you want your middle ground, right? And then you want your capital ship version, which is, of course, the Orion, which is listed as a capital ship in the ship matrix. I think the MISC and the Hull series do this the best with, of course, cargo, because it's the easiest thing to think about, and that's why they have it down. You have your Hull A through E, right? So there's 5 different sizes. So I think because that kind of, for me, it gives me like an idea of what they might be thinking of in terms of all the other roles and like classes in the game. Not necessarily with the same manufacturer with MISC, it was just the easiest thing and the most logical thing to do. But like, say for mining, we have, I guess you have like a Hull B version of mining with the MISC Prospector, and you have the Hull E version of mining with the Orion. So maybe you could have even more private mining with like a CNOU, like a Hull A size, Aurora size vehicle that can mine. Or maybe even like, I feel like with things like the Aurora or even the Reliance, they have like attachment points for suites, like for things like science, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe they could do very small bits of mining that way as well, Like you can add a tractor beam, you can add a mining laser, and you can you might not
like
need a bespoke ship.
Like a very very modular ship. Like
exactly,
you would buy it's a frame, but it you could do anything with it you want. You could have people transport, cargo transport, mining, refinery, fuel scooping, even military, possibly.
And honestly, if CNOU didn't already have the Mustang, I would say that's probably a very CNOU thing to do. Today, people are talking about modular cell phones and stuff, and being able to change them on the fly. A modular ship that you could give a role that you wanted on the fly. That would be very CNOU, in my opinion, anyway. Maybe mid-class, like a constellation size.
Yeah, not variants, but basically like just the ship itself is a bridge, engines, and a big framework.
Yeah.
And everything else is added on.
But
that could work. Yeah, that I could see being.
Yeah. But otherwise, there is no like. That's what I would feel like CNO could do. It seems like a very CNO thing to do because everything else is very rigid and regimented, and Silas is not.
Right. Yeah. We had variants, and there was some talk about modular ships. Like the Retaliator is supposed to be a bit of a modular ship. Like you can replace the Bombays, Bombay, for
what was that?
I don't know.
It just reminded me of pot noodles because they had like a pot noodle brand called Bombay Bad Boy, and I'm pretty sure the ad was kind of like that.
I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. All of the things.
But
Retaliator is supposed to you're supposed to replace the Bombays for cargo or for living quarters, but nothing's been done about that.
Right.
Yet. We got a few concept images, but that's it.
Yeah. In terms of like ship sizes and that governing what ships could be coming down the pipeline, I feel like Drake is probably prime, and so on the captain's table, Disco Lando came on in the chat, and he said that this Friday, when we're talking about building a Drake ship, it's not going to be like anybody like like everybody's ideas go in. They have 3 ideas for a Drake ship, and we get to vote on that, and then like certain processes they go through it. So I feel like a Drake salvaging ship is so Drake. Is so Drake, like a medium-sized salvaging ship. So maybe
is that going to be the new catchphrase? Like that's so Raven is going to be that's so Drake.
No, just get out. There is the door. But no, definitely, I feel like maybe like a constellation-sized Drake ship that is built for salvaging. That's what I think is missing in terms of the equation so far. Because
you have the salvaging
reclaimer,
as the reclaimer, and that is a capital-sized ship as well.
Exactly,
isn't it?
you have a capital reclaiming, like a salvaging ship. You don't have anything else, and I think Drake really does fit what fit that description.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
But anyway, I think maybe that is kind of it for this segment of the podcast, right? I mean, like we've been going for 2 hours now.
Almost 2 hours, yeah. It's one of the longest episodes we've ever done, and considering how much information has been just thrust upon us, we've been buried under the avalanche of new 3.0 information. I think we are justified in going to such lengths.
So very soon after we finish the YouTube portion of the show, we'll then go back to Twitch chat mode.
That is correct.
That is correct.
But yes. So if you ask questions, stay tuned. We will be answering them. But if you watched on YouTube, this is the time where we say goodbye. And this has been episode 420 for December. No, it's not December yet. What am I talking about? It's November 28th, 2017. It's very apt that the episode is called 420 because this has been one of those rambliest episodes that we've ever done. But I have been Darjanator. Over there has been Myre. Yes, what he said. And this has been Fortnightly Frontier, and we will see you in the verse.
Wait, we have a new salute now, where it's like that, right?
Right. I wanted to do something like
that. No spinning.
No
No spinning.
Just go.
Yeah.